What's up, everyone? It is Monday. It's your lunch break, and you know what that means. I'm Mike Trim, and this is Panthers 360 right here on your WPTV YouTube page. Today, joined by a very special guest, the digital director and reporter for your Florida Panthers and a friend of the show, Jameson Olive. Jameson, welcome back. Thanks for spending time on your lunch break with us, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back on.
Let's talk Cats, shall we? And it is inching closer to the 2026 Winter Games. 9 of our Florida Panthers are going to be in Milan, of course, minus the captain, Alexander Barkov, and Seth Jones at this point. Expectation for players competing, especially Matthew Tkachuk. Let's talk about that. Just came off from off-season surgery. Brad Marchand as well. When we talk Olympics, and I know we have some big games before the Olympic break here, 3 of them, but let's talk about the expectation for our Panthers when it comes to the actual Olympic Games, how they'll contribute.
You know, I think the best thing is they're so diverse. Like you said, there's 9 guys, 5 different nations represented. So there's a very good chance a gold medal's coming home to South Florida with one of these guys. Obviously, you got a couple players on Canada, you got a couple players on USA, the favorites. So, it's looking really good for the Cats. And I think it's just a great opportunity with hockey, on the rise right now in the States. We saw what the 4 nations did and how much that brought kind of hockey back into the spotlight here. It's going to be that on steroids. It's going to be incredible. And there's a really good chance for a lot of these guys that maybe are household names in South Florida to now become household names around North America. I mean, Matthew Tkachuk, I think, is already there. And you talk about Chucky, and I think, for him, it's great that he looks so good since he's been back. He's been back for about 6 or 7 games. He's looked like his old self, especially recently. So he's going to play a huge role for Team USA. And it's another chance for his star to just grow and him to kind of maybe become one of those faces of USA Hockey. I think he already is one of those faces, but now with USA Hockey back at the Olympics, USA Hockey itself is becoming a bigger thing. So I think this is a really great opportunity for so many players to make their mark, but particularly Matthew Tkachuk to just really kind of take that next step towards even greater stardom.
Yeah, we can only hope, obviously, for Team USA, him and his brother. I think the country's going to find out very soon who the Tkachuk brothers are for sure. You're entrenched with the team, so we do get a break here, the Olympic break. Most of the players, they live here, already in the best weather in the country. Do you see some of them traveling or just kind of staying at home and resting up during that break?
Yeah, a good amount go farther south. A good amount find an island they like and go hit the beach for a week or so. So it's a great time. But for most of these guys, it's just family time. There's so many dads on the Panthers. You saw during Kids Day last game, all the guys on the ice with the babies. There's more coming on the way. A couple dads here joining the group soon. And it's just, I think Paul Maurice has called it a daycare before in there. So I think it's a great opportunity for these guys to just spend time with their families. They're away from home so much, especially these last couple of years with all the playoff runs. So these are the best years. A lot of these kids are, infants or 2, 3, 4 years old, so they're going to spend some time with their kids on vacation. But that being said, I'm sure a good amount of time will also be spent at home here in South Florida, enjoying the home they don't spend a lot of time in because they're always on the road.
It is special to see the boys with their boys and their girls, and hopefully they get some time to recharge there. So when we come back from the Olympic break, not going to be long for teams, just like the Panthers have decisions to make at the trade deadline. There's rumors out there, not going to address any specific ones, but from your perspective, is it possible the Panthers could make a splash, potentially a big one here?
Well, it's always possible. I mean, it's Bill Zito. Bill Zito has made more splashes than anyone, and sometimes they're big immediately, like the Matthew Tkachuk trade. Sometimes they're, the Sam Reinhart or the Sam Bennett trade, where those things happen. You say, okay, the Cats are getting a good player, but then a couple years later, look how great those guys are with the Panthers. So Bill Zito's never standing pat. He's always looking to improve his team, both now and in the future. So you never know what to expect there. I think all the curveballs he's thrown over the years, so most no one can see coming. Last year, obviously, it was Brad Marchand and Seth Jones coming in. Just what big splashes those were and how much that helped the Cats get that second straight cup. But, for the Panthers, coming up at the deadline, I think, as you look at the roster and you kind of think about the Panthers, you forget how good the Panthers are when they are at full health. Like, it's not like they need a lot now or in the future. They just need to get healthy. They just need these guys back. It's not like there's big holes somewhere in the lineup you're really scratching your head at. So if it gets to a point where they're right there and maybe they need a couple guys to put them over the edge, they're always looking to add. It's Bill Zito who's going to put the team in the best position to win. But as you look down the future, as you look next year and the year after that and the year after that, every year the Panthers only need to maybe make 1 or 2 moves tops. I mean, all these guys are locked up to great long-term deals. So when you look at the core of the Panthers, I think we just need to get healthy more than add, honestly.
Yeah, we would love to have our team back to full health. There was a bit of good news today that Jonah Gadjevic is in that white full contact jersey. Are we expecting him back potentially before the Olympic break or definitely after? or both?
He's still looking like after. He's back to contact, but Paul Maurice describes it more as soft contact. He's not ready to take a check at 30 miles an hour out there from a big defender yet. So he's getting close, which is great because I know he's a fourth liner, but he's an important fourth liner to this team. He's important in the room. There's a reason he was one of the last guys, on the ice, had the last shift during the Cup clincher last year with AJ Greer and Tomasz Nosek. So he's an important guy. He's going to make an impact when he gets back. But with him, Seth Jones, those look like two guys coming, right after the Olympics, which will be great to see. The Panthers just have to get through 3 more games here till they get a couple more bodies back. Anton Lundell's still day-to-day. He was out there in the yellow, no contact. He's not playing tonight. Brad Marchand wasn't out there. He's not playing tonight. Either of those guys, Paul Maurice says, could potentially return before the break. You don't know, but they're both day-to-day. But regardless, it looks like the Panthers just have to get through these 3 games, get through the Olympics unscathed, all their guys coming back, and they'll be the healthiest they've ever been coming out of the Olympic break.
Yeah, and then we come back, and then it is not just a couple games, it is a sprint. Currently sitting 8 points out of that last wild card spot. You got the 3 games before the Olympic break, coming back, hopefully many more healthy. What do you see, in that sprint for a playoff spot and just making up for those points? You try to do the timeline of, okay, by this week, but the Atlantic Division, everybody's still winning. That's the problem. What do you see after the Olympic break when it comes to that playoff push?
Yeah, like I said, the East, particularly Atlantic, is just so good this year. Everyone, if you look at their last 10 games, has 6 or 7 wins. It's incredible. You thought at some point it would fade and teams would start to split, but it's still so tight there in the Atlantic. And I think what's working in the Panthers' favor is you go to the second half of a season, the later half of a season, and there's so many divisional games, and all these teams are going to start beating each other up a little bit. For some, that'll be a positive. They'll be able to pull away. For some, a negative. They'll start to drift away. And the Cats will have a lot of divisional games as well. You look at, this week in particular, before the break, 3 divisional games on the docket. So it'll kind of be in their hands. It'll kind of be in their destiny. Eventually they're going to find some openings and some holes there if they can stay in the fight to make up that ground, which is always big. But you look at the last stretch here, I think it's 27 or 28 games. You basically have to win 2 or 3 the rest of the way. Yeah, every block of 3 games, you win 2 games, you're probably fine. You're going to get the points you need. This is a team that can do that. They really still haven't gone on their run yet this year. Maybe when they come out of the Olympic break, they'll get that run. So many other teams in the East have had that run of they've won 9 of 10 or 10 of 11. You look at the Sabres and their great winning streak they had earlier in the year. The Panthers still have that run in them somewhere when healthy, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull that out for the second half. And the best thing working for them is so many guys in that room were a part of this team during the 22-23 season when they snuck into that playoffs by that 1 point. It had to be so good in the second half, and every game was do or die hockey. So the guys aren't scared of the stretch. They're not scared of how important these games are. They're used to it, and they're up for the challenge.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Boys in that locker room have been through the fire and then some. Vamos Gatos night, correct, here for tonight's game?
Yes.
Okay, that's exciting.
It's great. It's a great tradition. I mean, I remember years ago we were just in marketing meetings and talking about Vamos Gatos and expanding the fan base and reaching out to groups maybe we weren't hitting, and to see it grow from that meeting to what it is now with the incredible jerseys that are out there, all the activations at the game at Amber and Bank Arena. It's just awesome, and it's a little bit farther than that too, where it's the term Vamos Gatos. We always hear Go Cats, but Vamos Gatos, you hear it around the community all the time. Even players love saying it. I've heard Barkey say Vamos Gatos a million times. So just that saying itself has also kind of become a part of the lifeblood of the Panthers, which I think is so great.
Okay, it's game day for you. You sneaking that nap in there, or are you getting right to the arena here pretty soon?
Well, as you can see, I'm at home right now behind me, so I did make it back from morning skate. Typically on a game day, you have a little time in between morning skate and going back to the rink where you come home, eat lunch, put your suit on, and then get back. But it's not a lot of time. It's a quick turnaround.
It is a quick turnaround. We always appreciate your time, Jameson Olive. And listen, we do this every Monday, and it's on our YouTube page here on WPTV, 12:15. You can get your questions, comments. I'll answer all of them when we get a chance to. Also, you could catch Panthers 360. Don't forget, every Wednesday, 7:30. It's right on South Florida's 9. It's Panthers hockey. 3 more games until the Olympic break, and then it's the push for the playoffs after that. Thanks for spending time with us in your lunch breaks, folks. We'll see you later.